Hello, everyone. Welcome into TexAgs Rewind, presented by Specs in the Rollo Insurance Studio. We had a fun show today, I think. What did we have on the show today that you liked?
I had a good time with the Go Hour. I really enjoyed that first.
See, when you
first
say
segment.
that, I need information on why, because we got to whet the appetite for the audience.
You know, we were talking about the weekend with basketball and
forgot.
baseball.
You already forgot the Go Hour.
No, we were also. I mean, we had the talk about.
This is like you had a terrorist showdown. Like you have to. Yes, sir. They're treating me great. I love everything about my hostage people. Sorry, the terrorists.
I liked the debate about Eye of the Tiger, and you guys can catch it in the rewind for a little bit, maybe. But I liked it.
Obviously, it was the greatest song of all time. Michael Earley was on the show. Really good answers from. I love doing those interviews with Coach Earley. Buzz Williams was on the show, and Billy Liucci on the program. That and more. We call it the Rewind.
The opponent has had at least 9 3-pointers in every loss. Florida hit 14 3-pointers. And in those 4 losses, their opponents are shooting about a little more than 42%.
42% from the 3.
Yeah.
You're not going to, with the way A&M, look, it seems to me that at this point of the season, people have figured out what you do. And either you have to disguise it, or you have to change it, you have to alter it when it's not working anymore, right? And right now, teams are hitting threes against A&M.
Yeah.
It is more than a trend. This is what is happening.
And you know what Florida did also on top of that was the offensive rebound, which is, you know, typically not what a team can do. And they rebounded well. And A&M, you know, they have to compensate for their own shooting issues by playing good defense, by rebounding and getting to the foul line. Well, they got to the foul line. They rebounded well. They just didn't rebound dominant.
They didn't dominate the rebound, yeah.
And then, they didn't play good defense. I think
and turnovers.
Yeah. What they have, 14?
It was 15.
15.
Yeah. Too many turnovers.
Take care of the ball. This
was a team that early on when they were winning, they were probably, 9 turnovers a game?
Yeah, probably one. You know, here's the deal, though. Look, you've lost 4 in a row. There's no excuses. But so I don't want this to sound like an excuse. Florida's a bad matchup for A&M.
You said that going into it.
Especially on the road. And I kind of I didn't anticipate a 19-point loss. So part of that was they went on a 9-0 run to close the game. But
again, to close the game, something we've seen in a couple of games.
But what was different in that one was that the issue was pretty much settled.
Yeah.
I don't know how anybody can be confident for tomorrow night's game against number 1 Auburn.
Yeah. Coach Earley, is it a sigh of relief? Is it, all right, here we go, now we can be ourselves? When you get a performance where you have 12 hits and 4 different batters with multi-hit games, like, can one game be a catalyst for what this team can really be?
Absolutely. Just how one game and, you know, a non-performance can kind of spiral in that direction, which you got to get a hold of. But I mean, Bronny knows, like, hitters need to get hits. Like, Jace capped 2 balls last night, got 2 hits. Like, you need that. And just like early on, I think he hit a ball like 109. Maybe it was the first game everyone thought was going out, and it was an out. So you need those hits, and that helps. I mean, confidence hitting is, I don't know what the percentages are, but you can have a terrible swing, have a terrible body, but if you're the most confident player in the world, you can get hits, and vice versa. It's a part of it. So, yeah, you need to see those things fall. I think, you know, the only way I can think is that it's going to get us going, because I believe in these guys.
Just your thoughts on the performances of some guys that were kind of inserted in the lineup in the last week. Sawyer Farr, Matt Bergevin. It seems like Bergevin's at-bats last night were competitive. Had the single on Saturday. And I know as you tinker, you're just looking for whatever best combination clicks and fits together. But what do you think of these guys? And even Sam Erickson getting his first shot.
Yeah, I think you said Matt had, he didn't get, I don't know if he got a hit. I don't think he got a hit last night, but he had competitive at-bats. Just competitive at-bats. wasn't a break in the lineup. Sawyer, I thought, did the same. Had a nice line drive yesterday that the guy caught. He's just got to get more comfortable being a freshman. But I think that guy has a lot of room to grow in a positive way. And I think we'll see that throughout the course of the season. And then, Sam got thrown in there first start. A tough matchup, but Sam's going to be fine. Sam's good. It's just kind of threw him in the fire a little bit, but that's how this is. So, I thought he was competitive. He didn't get the results he wanted, but I don't question his effort.
All right, is a higher majority of those 3-pointers are being made? Are they after defensive rebounds, like second and third chance possessions?
Yeah, good question. The last 3 games, the amount of threes made are at a high percentage.
Yeah.
And our defense does force you to shoot more threes. Florida was averaging 27 threes a game. They shot 33 for the game. What I would say specific to Florida, the 23s they shot in the first half were off of middle penetration.
Okay.
And we changed some of the coverages at halftime. They shot 12 in the second half. A couple of those came off middle penetration, but several of those did come off offensive rebound, pitch out, dagger type shots.
Yeah.
Tennessee, their threes, obviously number 2, particularly in the first half, he had 22. I know not all of them were threes. Number 5 from Vanderbilt, the game in between, he made 7 threes. We have awareness to those level of players. We give it specific language. Our premise and how we guard those guys is different relative to how they score and how they shoot. And there'll be some of that applies tomorrow against Auburn. The second half would have been dagger threes against Florida. The first half threes would have been our premise defensively is to try to keep the ball on the side. And too many times the ball got to the middle, which now all of a sudden the ball's in the middle and your defense is most vulnerable. And we didn't do a good job preventing them from getting middle in the first half. Mm-hmm. And we were better at that in the second half. 14 threes made, a very high percentage. One of the stats we chart is contested 3 percentage. And then we also break down, are those threes catch shoot or are those threes off the bounce? Normally, if they're catch shoot, it means you're coming from a long closeout situation.
Yeah.
If they're off the bounce, typically it's coming from a short closeout situation and or it's just a one-on-one ISO move. Most of those shots in the second half from Florida were short closeout ISO moves. And you want those, if you're going to shoot threes, you choose those more often than you do long closeout catch shoot threes because teams are going to shoot those at a higher percentage.
Yeah. Well, they have to get better now because nothing that they're going to have because of their upcoming opponents and, before conference play. And because they only beat Rice and it wasn't Oak State, it wasn't even Arizona, who could maybe make noise in the Big 12, they will go into conference play with 0 on their resume. Like nothing. Texas State even would have been a nice win because, they historically, history tells you they're going to be in the postseason. Hell, you never know with them. They could be like a regional host. But you have nothing to show for in the non-conference. And I'm thinking you're probably going to go into the postseason and your resume is going to be based exclusively on what you did in the SEC, which can be more than enough. But that is coming up very quickly here, right? Alabama is coming up. Who's the first SEC series? Bama, right?
Yeah, Bama.
It's coming up very quickly. It's 2 weeks away, basically. Actually, less than 2 weeks from now. And the baseball they've been playing, this team will get eaten alive and will not reach the postseason. If that's a big if. I don't expect that to happen. I expect them to play a lot better And they know that. Like, this is not SEC level at all, what we've seen. Now, you hope that they get Caden Sorrell back. You got a lot of guys on this baseball team that, to me, Chase Laviolette, Hayden Schott, Gavin Cash, just off the top of my head, 3 guys that in their careers, a body of work, are much better hitters than we've seen so far this season. And it's not even close. Like, they are, over 2 years for Cash, for Jace, and like 5 years of evidence for Schott, they're much better hitters. So you have to think that is going to show. And you bring back in a Caden Sorrell into that. Now you got, if you feel like those hitters are who they are, and they are, and you throw in Sorrell, that's half your lineup right there. That should be hitting a lot more than what we saw last night versus how they've been struggling. That's been the biggest surprise, biggest letdown, whatever you want to call it. And Hensler's ripping the cover off the ball, and then Caden's been solid and then was spectacular last night.
All right, we close it out. You can tell the people, this time don't sound like you got a gun to your head, all right? You're allowed to answer with like a little fun and passion. Yes, David, please like, comment, and subscribe. Go ahead.
Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Tell us how we did in the comments. Tell me how I did in the comments. I want to see the criticism. So I want to see it. I got to get better.
Rising up.
Rising up.
Straight to the top.
Yep.
You know any more words?
Hey now.
No.
See you next time.